on the list. Egypt, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam President. بداية أحب أوجه كل الشكر والتقدير لمعالي الأمين العام وللسكرتارية على الجهد الكبير اللي بذلوه، وقد استمعنا منذ قليل لرؤية متكاملة وخطة عمل لأداء المنظمة في الفترة القادمة نأمل أن تحقق كل أهدافها. حقيقة فيما يتعلق ببند الميزانية وزياداتها، إننا نتفهم أن هناك اعتبارات خاصة بزيادة الميزانية مرتبطة بدولة المقر. نتفهم أن هناك اعتبارات خاصة لمطلب زيادة الميزانية مرتبطة بدولة المقر، إلا أنها في الواقع اعتبارات مؤقتة، وهناك طلبات مماثلة لزيادة ميزانيات العديد من المنظمات الحكومية لمواجهة النفقات، ليس فقط الألكو. لكن على مستوى العالم هناك أيضا الدول تمر بظروف مشابهة، ويجب أن نتفهم ظروف هذه الدول والصعوبات التي تواجهها. لذلك كان هناك قرار على مستوى العالم بأن يكون هناك زيرو كروس في ميزانية المنظمات الحكومية. في تقديرنا أن هناك عدد من الإجراءات لرفع كفاءة العمل والاستجابة للاحتياجات الملحة ربما تكون إجراءات مقترحة، من بينها ضرورة النظر في ترشيد النفقات، وعلى السكرتارية تقديم مقترحات عملية في هذا الشأن تكون قابلة للتنفيذ تعرض على الدول الأعضاء. أيضا أن تسعى المنظمة لترشيد المطبوعات والاستعانة بالسوفت كوبيز العمل الإلكتروني، خاصة وأن المنظمة لديها موقع متميز على شبكة المعلومات الدولية. إيجاد سبل عملية للحصول على المتأخرات من الدول التي لم تسدد التزاماتها عبر السنوات الماضية، مثلما فعلت الأرض وغيرها من المنظمات، وسبق لمصر إثارة هذا المقترح العام الماضي ولم نتلق أي تقدم بشأنه. ختاما أننا نتطلع الاستماع لكافة آراء الوفود وصولا لحالة من التوافق حول بند الميزانية، وسوف نؤيد ونساير هذا التوافق. شكرا سيادة الرئيس.
Thank you very much, Egypt. Now India has the floor. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, let me compliment the Secretary General for a very comprehensive report he has submitted. Before going forward about the topics which he has suggested and which our Bangladesh colleague delegate also has taken up, but of course you mentioned that there is a finance. Where do you find the resources? Of course, I don't have any answer for that, but that of course membership collectively has to find some solution. One suggestion my predecessor has made, to make e-books rather than circulating books. Maybe that's one of the good suggestions. Maybe some more ideas may come up. With regard to the new topics and new work program which you proposed, we appreciate very much that e-commerce, alternative dispute settlement, cyber crime investment, etc. you mentioned, IPRs also you mentioned. They're all very good, but so far, to me, so far as e-commerce as well as alternate dispute settlement is concerned, there are other forums also seems to be working. Maybe perhaps ALCO can watch and see in what direction it is going, and see whether that by publishing something, publishing or alerting the membership, whether that direction can be changed or not, or modified in favor of the developing countries. These issues maybe perhaps you can consider. So far as a cyber crime is concerned, this is an interjurisdictional, trans-jurisdictional issue. Yes, it's very important. Beyond that also, there is international aspect, which is now some of the, and if you see some of these statements of U.S. Secretary of U.S. Legal Advisor, State Department Legal Advisor, about the cyber attack that takes place on your infrastructure or on your power generation nuclear facilities. If such kind of things takes place from across the border, which you don't know from somewhere, in what way you would respond? Whether you would consider it as an attack on your interference into your affairs, or attack on your state, and at what point of time you can take countermeasures. These are the issues, some of the issues which are being discussed in other fora, UN convened fora. Some states have already taken a position. Some of the delegations, perhaps they might be aware, whether existing international law, Article 2.4 or 51 of UN Charter, etc., they would be of any use. These are the issues being discussed, whether a new law has to be brought in, new perspective, new legal principles have to be evolved. These are the issues that are also being discussed. Perhaps Secretariat, ALCO Secretariat can look at those things. So far as investment issues are concerned, apart from purely legal and economic matters, there are other matters which are being interpreted by the arbitrators. Minimum standard of treatment, fair and equitable treatment, minimum standard of treatment in international law. These are the things which are being very broadly, sometimes very widely being interpreted to the detriment of the hosting, investment receiving states. These issues are very relevant for the, similarly, about at what point of time a measure taken by a state would amount to expropriation. A genuine tax measure, would it amount to expropriation, or any environmental issue, some pollution, any measures to control the pollution. These are the issues which are being interpreted. Almost it seems we have left these things to the arbitrators, mostly who come from the Europe and Western continent, American continent. I don't see there is any, except a few from ASEAN countries. There are no arbitrators and no legal lawyers who are participating in this legal process. Perhaps these are the things perhaps the ALCO Secretariat could take up. But so far as finance is concerned, of course, some more innovative, more ideas may come up, and we will support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, India, for your proposals and for highlighting some of the issues which might be of interest to ALCO member states. Tanzania has requested the floor. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, Tanzania would like to congratulate the Secretary General for the well-elucidating report. We also appreciate the efforts that have been done by the Secretary General in maintaining a close relationship between ALCO and the partner institutions such as the International Law Commission, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and the International Criminal Court. We have all heard on the report of the Secretary General, and as you can all see, it contains an elaborate list of activities which have been undertaken by the Secretary General in this endeavor. It is no doubt that the success of ALCO greatly depends on maintaining a close working relationship with these institutions. We also would like to congratulate the Secretary General for the steps that have been taken to revitalize the organization as it has been enumerated in the paragraph 52. My delegation agrees to the proposals that have been enumerated with regard to strengthening human resources at the organization secretariat. In the current financial constraints, the proposal that has been put forward by the Secretary General for the member states to attach officers to work at the organization on a secondment basis is highly welcomed. These officials who will be remunerated by the seconding state will not only assist the organization, but will also benefit the seconding state through the knowledge of these officials, which they will acquire by working for ALCO. It is our view that this is one of the ways that ALCO will benefit from the current situation of shortage of staff. On the point of increasing membership of ALCO, we appreciate the efforts being undertaken by the Secretariat in increasing the membership of ALCO. It is our opinion that we, as the current member states, also have a role to play in making an effort to influence our sister states in our regions to consider joining ALCO. Sharing from our experience of the benefits we are drawing from ALCO, other states in our region may easily make the decision to join ALCO. We also welcome the network of young jurists. In Tanzania, we are ready to work closely with ALCO on this initiative, and we are ready to initiate a first network of young jurists, but also would like to seek the assistance of ALCO in doing research with the Law School of Tanzania. I beg to submit.
Thank you, ma'am, for your intervention. Japan has also requested for the floor. You have the floor, sir.
Madam President, thank you very much. Since it seems to me that already number of delegates touched upon the question of finance and budgetary matters, I'd like to have my colleague, Mr. Aoyama, Counsel for International Legal Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Japan, present Japanese further views on this matter.
Thank you. As our head of the delegation, Ambassador Ishigaki, Special Assistant to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, stated yesterday, in order for ALCO to continue to play an important role for the future of Asia and Africa, it is important that the organization should be placed on a sound and sustainable financial basis. Now, so many member states are not fulfilling their financial obligations under the current scale of contributions. And the proposal to increase the budget by 14% would only lead to a situation in which those member states that have been fulfilling their financial obligations have to pay more simply to cover those not fulfilled. This is not a sound financial basis. Just for your reference, if the proposed budget is applied, Japan's contribution for the year 2014 will increase approximately in 23% from the last year's contributions under the current scale of contributions allocated to Japan in US dollars. In Japanese yen, 44% increase due to recent yen depreciation. And the portion of Japan's contribution in the total amount of the proposed budget reach about 12%. Well, now, I don't intend to propose reopening a discussion on review of the scale of contribution here in this session, but I think this must be discussed in near future. Madam President, the future of ALCO depends on the will of the member states. As the leader of the delegation of Japan stated at the annual session 2010, only two ways are in front of us. Either all the member states contribute their own share of contribution without single default to keep the budget size, or concede realistically that ALCO could expect only 70% of contributions from its member states each year, and acknowledge that is real budget of ALCO. Obviously, the latter implies downsizing of its activities and personnel, and we believe no one prefers the latter to the former. So we are not happy with the current level of attention given to the finance issue by the member states. It's deplorable only a very limited number of member states expressed their views at the liaison officers' meetings during the past year, despite the Secretariat's repeated request for the member states' reactions. So Japan cannot agree to a budgetary framework of any international organization whose financial base rests on an assumption that it should be supported by contributions from a limited group of member states. So we would like to call on all member states to have a sense of urgency on the finance issue, and at the same time, being aware of the effort made by the Secretariat in recovering arrears and cutting expenditures in all heads possible, we would like to ask the Secretariat